Hey guys, in this video we're going to make a weather React application. It's just going to be a really simple application that's ugly as sin, but styling wasn't really the main priority and concern here. So we're going to have this header, this city box that's going to display the city, and we're going to display the temperature and the humidity. So if you put a city in here, it's going to automatically update to that city, and as you type, the API is calling out and calling the cities as you go. So that's a city, Howard's a city, and you get the idea. So the temperature isn't in Fahrenheit or Celsius, it's in Kelvin, I believe. But for the purpose of this video, I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys quickly how to make something like this up and style it and kind of customize it to how you want, and basically just to give you a reinforcement to the React basics. So hope you enjoy the video. So we'll just get right into it. I've got terminal app open here. I'm just going to cd into my documents and create the application using create React app. I'm going to let that install. Okay, so we're good there. I'm going to open it up here. I've got a new VS Code window open. I don't have code added to my path in the terminal, so that's why I'm opening it up manually. So let's open up app.js. We'll go ahead and gut it out. Get rid of the logo. Going to app CSS. Let's get rid of all that. Index CSS. Let's get rid of that. Low SVG. We can get rid of that. Okay. Take out these comments. And I think from there we can go and start. First thing I want to do is cd into the weather app. I'll just go and start the application. Okay, and nothing's there because we took it all out. Now, I don't have any idea, I don't have any pre-plan for how I want this application to look or what I'm going to do to it. So it's all going to just kind of be from scratch. There's not really anything scripted here. I think I will create a components folder just to keep things kind of organized, but this application is going to be so small that you kind of almost don't really need it. So this first component, let's make another folder, and I'll call that header folder, header.jsx. There it goes. And too quick for the code completion. There we go. Hello from header. Okay. So we export that. Let's go ahead and import it into our app. Okay, let's take a look. Can't resolve components header. It's because it's supposed to be like that too. Okay, hello from header. Let's go ahead and style that just a tiny bit. So in here, do header.css. So here we have the header itself. I think what I would want is just one block that goes across that just says weather apps will do a container, and then one more container with the text. think that's all I'm going to need. Okay. Let's give this a class name of, we'll call this container, header container, we'll call it header container. And call this header text maybe. Close that for now, and then header CSS. Okay, let's give it background color. Let's start with black. Right. We'll do width 100%. Height. We'll do 50 pixels. See what that looks like. Let's see. Let's go on here, header container, header text, header container. Background color black. Okay. Header text. Oh, I know why it didn't work. No, I didn't import it. So let's go in the header. There we go. Cool. Let's make this height 100. Let's do this. Let's do some of these stylings in here. So this should be center, margin. Nope, don't work. I'll tell you what, actually. Let's make this display flex, justify content, center. There we go. That's kind of what I want. Do I still need this text align? I think I do. No, I don't. Okay. Copy these two. And let's see, for the actual text itself, that's an H1. Can we increase the font size? Hello? Interesting. Oh, because it's the div box itself. So let's see. We actually do this. It's funny that Pixels isn't working right now for some reason, but M will. Percent works. Not quite sure why that does that. That's funny. Let's see if we do for M. Too much. Let's actually go back on the header text box. That's just for the box itself. You know what? That's actually probably fine how it is. We'll just leave it like that. Let's change the color for Let's do like a bluish color maybe. Change that back to black. You know, actually with the header text, we don't even need that anymore since we're not really doing anything to it. All right, that's fine. Let's do another box. So that's the header. Let's do a main container component. Just call it main, I guess. And in there we'll have a main container.jsx. I'm trying to do this super quick. I don't think I would necessarily name these if I was trying to make a real application, but I don't really want to focus too much on the names right now. So main. Okay. Let's go ahead and import that here. Can't type. Hold it for main there. Now with the main container, what I basically want, let's go ahead and give this a CSS. In this main container, this div, let's give it a class name of container. Here, main container. With this width, I want it to be maybe 80%. Let's give it a background color. For some reason, these semicolons aren't going. Let's give it a background color. We'll do aqua mirroring for now, see how that works out. Nothing's in the container, so let's just do test. Let's go main container. That width was, let's try 50%. Back to 80. Okay. Let's do display flex. And let's go back to the container.jsx. Let's import that style sheet. Can't type. If we did display flex on it, and then flex direction, is it? That's for that. Margin auto. Okay. Then let's do a height of 50 VH. Let's do 80. We'll do 80. All right. I think what I want is this to be pure white, and then maybe this background to be some other ugly color. Let's go, first of all, let's go ahead and copy this. We'll put that into our styles here. That way that stays the same. Then if we go back to app.css, if we do a body, start with that for now. Oh god, that's so ugly. Let's see. Light blue. We'll just do light blue for now. All right. This is turning out to be super ugly, but styling is not really the focus here. It's just kind of getting a working application. So what I really want to do is we'll make another box in here that might say like the city or something. And then below it might display like the information from the weather. So let's go and in the main container, text align center. Oh, of course not. But actually, we don't even really need that too much right now, because what I want to do is put another box in here, and we'll call this weather header. And let's put some dummy data in here for now. We'll do an H3 that says Jacksonville, 80 degrees. All right, it's cool. Let's open it up. Take a look. Weather container. Right, because we're doing a display of flex, that's lining up this way. So what I really want to do is let's take this. Yeah. Justify content center. On the header itself, actually, let's go back to the main container and display flex, and we'll say flex direction, I think. Yeah, column, rows. I think that's what I want. So, back in the application, main container.css, display flex, flex direction, row, and then justify content center. That should be good for now. Let's make this height 30 pixels, maybe 100 pixels. Width, we'll do 100. Okay. Let's give it a background color. I could look at these forever, honestly. Just do like a light pastel color. stick there. And that was in the weather header. All right. What if we gave it a border? And border radius. Okay. Not too bad. Let's actually make the width not 100%, but maybe 80%. Cool. Let's do margin top 20 pixels. Let's take this down from being pure black to maybe grayish. All right. And then we do a box shadow. 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 5 pixels. There we go. Okay. Now let's do another part right down here where we'll make a new card that displays the weather information. So here we have main container in the main. And inside main container, we've got this weather header. Now I could probably honestly separate that architectural wise, I'm thinking. But I think what I might actually do is just keep it like that. And then I'll pop the weather container in here underneath the header. So it's got the main container, and then inside the main container you'll have the weather container. And then inside the app.js, it houses the header and then the main container. So in components, I'm going to make a new folder. We'll call it maybe weather card container. Weather card container.jsx. And then I'll just go ahead and preemptively make weather card container.css. We'll go ahead and import the CSS. And then function and we'll go and export weather card container, export default. Okay, so I'm going to give this class name weather card container. And same thing, we're going to do a width of 80% because I want to match the header. We'll do, well, before we do too much, let's go ahead and import it inside the main container. So inside main container, we'll go ahead and import weather card container from weather card container, and we'll write down here use it. Okay. Oh, actually, you know what? This might need to be a row, not a column. So let me go back in the main container, make this column, see if that changes it. It does, and it messes everything up. So main container, column, height is 80 view height. Let's see, where am I going wrong? Margin maybe? Nope. That needs to be like that. Take that margin away. What is making this go that way? There we go. Take that from there. Justify content. I think we want like think about this for a second because we have it in rows. We have the main container in rows. Technically, if I took flex away, margin auto, and then I went back in the weather header and I did a margin auto that fixes that. I think that's what I'll do. So I'll copy that. That's for weather header. And then this is not here anymore. Okay. That's kind of fine how it is. I'm not going to worry too much about it. And then this, what I want that to be is width of 80%. Let's give it a background color so I can see what's going on here. We'll do blue. Okay. Margin auto, that also centers. We'll do margin top 20 pixels. We'll do height. Do height of 50 maybe. Or what I could always do, I'll just leave it for that. Like I said, it's not really about styling. We'll do kind of a light color. Okay. So first of all, with this card, you kind of want to figure out what information you want to display. And what I want to display is maybe something here, something here. So maybe temperature, cloudiness, humidity, whatever, and then the numbers. You could technically split up this weather card container into two sides, left side and the right side, but I'm not going to worry about styling right now. I'm just going to go ahead and keep it the way it is. I might even just keep things kind of in a row, like temperature 80. Well, actually the temperature, no, this would just be city. So temperature 80, humidity, yeah. So we'll go ahead and keep it to where it's like a column. So in the this weather card container itself, what I'll do is I can give this a display of flex. Give that center. Okay, font size 50 pixels, yeah. Font family. We'll just do sans serif. Okay, let's copy this. This is for weather card container. And I think we're just going to leave it like that for now. All right, so now comes the fun part. Let's get some data. So if I am in my app.js, what I'm probably going to need to do is import use state, maybe use effect, and then in the actual app, I'm going to do a fetch. And let's find out Open Weather API. Open Weather Map. We'll just do it for the current weather data. So this is the API. Like I said, I haven't planned any of this out, so I really don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing here. So the API call is to api.openweathermap.org/data/2.5 weather. It's a query parameter, query equals city name. You do country code parameters. So if you do London, this is the kind of data it's going to give you back. Latitude and longitude, an ID, a main which says drizzle, description icon, and then main down here has got temp, pressure, humidity, so that's good. So I might do something like this right here, maybe a description, and then the temperature itself, which looks like it's not in Fahrenheit or Celsius. Is there a query parameter for that? Can we query by Fahrenheit? That's the response that you get back. well, we can always convert it. We'll find a quick conversion and just do it on the client side. So let's see if we go to API, it takes us back here. Do we need to sign in? Is it completely open? If I take this, open up new, let's go. Yeah, we need an API key, that's what I thought. So let's see if we get API key. Might have to sign in, sign up. I think I'm already signed up, but I can't remember. He'll let me know. Yep, I'm already here. So let's see if we go to sign in. Cool. Okay. Like I said, it's been quite a while. So there's my API key. Don't steal it. I'll just come over here and probably delete it after the video anyway, because this is just kind of a test video. So let's copy that. We'll go in here. Let's just make a comment down here. API key. And go back here. So we need that app ID. So and that's not it. So let's go to API. API docs. Where do I include the API key? Oh, and app ID. That's what I did wrong. And there we go. Cool. All right, so let's just copy this whole thing. Let's go into here. Let's do URL equals that. Okay. We're going to fetch search for there. Hue equals, I'm going to actually make these backticks so we can do some dynamic injection here. So for that, I'm going to call this, using string interpolation, city. And let's city equal Jacksonville. And this returns promise. I think it's just one level deep. Let's check here. Yeah, I think I need to go another level deep with this. So let's do another, then call data, log data maybe. Okay, so it's undefined. Or is it? Let me see. I actually can't really quite remember the fetch API. Let me do a search here. So there we go. So function response, return response at JSON, JSON.stringify. So return response.json. Then on the next data return JSON.stringify data. So let's call this weather data, and then below all this, let's log out data, see if that works. Yeah, kind of. I didn't miss anything, did I? Let's see. It's just a get. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and console log. See what comes from line 14 from that. That's the promise. And then let's see about, I'm pretty sure it should be down at here. It's console log data for now. There we go. It's not stringify, it's just return data. So return data. Yeah. Why? Or if we do let weather data it's undefined. Gosh dang it. It's there. That's the data I need. Okay, well let me see. Let's take this user use state. And then let's not return, but let's just set weather data to equal data. Multiple fetches, because that's not inside of a use effect state. I forgot. So let's comment that out. Let's make some room down here. We'll do a use effect. Move all of this into the use effect. Provide weather data. Now it's that. Now it should only fetch once. It fetches multiple times. Interesting. I don't want to pass it an empty array of dependencies. something should be in here. Well, let's just make it empty for now. Maybe perhaps this keeps getting called jacks. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Interesting. But I also need, brings up a good point. Specialize that there. City. Set city. Take this out. And we'll set the city as Jacksonville. Well, at least we're getting our data, so that's kind of all that matters to me right now at this point. Okay, so we've got that data. Now what I want to do is take the weather data and pass it into main container. So weather data equals weather data, and then weather data main container, weather main container. Let's go and destructure that off. And we'll pass that into here. And you'll notice that I'm doing a lot of prop drilling, but I'm not using, I'm not going to use the context API for this, just for time's sake. Okay, so in the weather card container, we finally receive it. And what I'm going to do, I forget what kind of properties there are, let's see. Let's do a data.main.temp. So maybe we can do const temp. See if that works here. Yep, it just did. Let's see, cannot read property temp if undefined. No, that's because it's not actually called temp, it's called something else. Let me make sure I'm getting the right name of that. Main, no, it is called temp. Should be right. Let's log weather data.main.temp here. Let's just log weather data.main. Oh, it's loading up, that's why. So what we can do is if weather data exists, we'll just do temp equals not exactly how I wanted to do it. I kind of wanted to destructure it off. I probably still can. So let me see. No, it's not being used. Let's just do Yeah. Or actually, what I probably can do, let's see if we can try this. A temp equal weather data.main.temp. Else an empty string. Since it's loading up, it doesn't work because it doesn't technically exist quite yet. Okay, we'll just leave it how it was. All right, so let's put that like that. We'll do one for humidity. So main.humidity. And let's see, this is the container. So what I can actually do, let's go and break this out. Couple. Yeah. It's lining up weird. It's because of the flex. Let's see. There should be column. And also align items center. Yep. Okay, let's take that. And that goes in the weather card container class. There. So technically, as far as like just getting data and storing data, this application's done. Like if we just wanted a static city, what we could do next is add a little form underneath that takes an input. So the input in this case would just be city. So just to grab the city and then input that data there. So let's go ahead and see if we can create something that goes inside this card. So if we're in the weather card, we're actually technically in the main component. So let's call something called, we'll do weather controls. We'll import weather controls from weather card container slash weather card controls. So in the weather card container, we'll make that file. And then there, same thing like usual, import React from React and function weather card controls. Return just that test div. And then export that out. Okay. So it's inside this card, but not inside this display, but that's fine. So inside here, let's create another div that's going to hold form. And then we'll create an input text, type text, placeholder will be enter a city. We'll put a label above that. Okay. And then below that, we'll have a button that says submit. Cool. And then let's see here, let's think about this. We need a on submit. It's going to be a function. Got e.prevent default and a slog e.target.value and this on submit false on submit. On click equals on submit. And I'm not sure if I did that right. Nah. Let's see. Yeah. Let's actually do that here too. Nothing. Let's just log e. Let's try the target. That's why. Just doing the button. Okay, so that on submit's not quite working right. Let's take this off. Let's do on change. And we'll do input handle. Let's make a new function called input handle. Target value. There it is. Now, when that's being captured, this on click is going to hit on submit, and then on submit, let's make some state. Let's go ahead and, oh, you know what, this is going to be hard to do without Redux. Let's try it anyway. New city, set city. Set new city here to e.target. What I'll probably need to do is move this up and then pass down the handle to the component. Let's actually do that. Let's take all of this, let's cut it, go into our app where our main API call is called, and we're going to pass it here. Set new city. Main container, let's go into the main container. Let's grab it. And the weather controls, we'll set it. So set new city equals. Yeah, so definitely using something like the context API will make hooks in the use state and use effect a whole lot easier. So it's definitely something to look into. Okay, so now we can set new city with the input handle. And then in our app, on-click equals input handle. So let's still log out. Technically, I guess I don't even need a form, do I? Not that. I'm sorry, e.target value. Let's say to differentiate what's going on here from the submit button. Interesting. Technically don't even need a button. So I'm actually gonna take that button out for now. Take this out. Don't really need any of that because technically we just enter the city and it's gonna be there no matter what. So in our main app, whenever new city is changed, we might not need this actually. So we'll put new city here. Interesting. Okay, so we'll start with city. So basically the app doesn't want to load up because there's no city in place. So if I did put new city here, even though it gives me an error, temp equals weather.data.main, that's in the weather card container. Because if weather data is true, it should work, but if not, okay, so what I'll actually do here is probably like a ternary. So let's go. Is weather data there? Then log this. Actually, there we go. Because I'm going to put I'm gonna make this temp, else do another p tag, temperature, nothing. And we'll do the same thing for this. Weather data true, humidity, else, nothing. Oh, you know, that's still not going to work because it can't read it from here. If weather data, maybe is this might help, not equal to undefined. It still wants to try to assign it. We'll take it a step further. And weather data dot main, it's not equal to undefined. Okay, cool. So if we put there we go. And this styling is god awful, but so that's there. That puts it up there, and let's change the city to in the header. Let's put the city to new city. So in our header component, wherever it was, we'll grab city from there. Not our header. Our card header. Yeah, so this is going to be replaced with city. If I could type. Take this out. There we go. And what I probably do is display the actual city information from the weather data. So in our weather card container, yeah, you know what? I don't even need. Where am I? Let's go back here. I don't actually need the new city in there because I'm going to just get the weather data itself, and I'm going to use that as the city name. So let's go up here and let's say let city. Actually, you know, I need to do the weather data check again. So if weather data let's take this way. So if weather data, nothing to geocode, of course. So let's go. Why? Didn't this just work a second ago? There we go. Couldn't find Nashville for some reason. Okay, so it's main. No, it's just .name. Weather data .name. So let's go up here. Let city equals weather data .name. And we'll just put here. Weather data. Okay. Jackson. So what's going to happen is that won't display up there if there's not an actual city. But the second a city gets pulled from the database, it gets put. Now the only thing I don't necessarily like is the fact that with every single keystroke, it's doing an API call. Ideally, you might not want that. It kind of works in this sense because it's like real-time updating. So if you're not worried about the number of API calls, then you might like the fact that this updates automatically. Alternatively, what you could do is you could put that button back in and then just make this value only get submitted when that button gets pushed. That way you're only making that API call when that button is pushed. So even though Ale is a city and it changes my temperature and my humidity, and that's kind of real time, you know, that's a real time find from the API. That might, for user experience side, that might be pretty cool because you can see, like, if you don't necessarily know how your city spelled, or I don't know, you just like seeing things update in real time. You know, from a user experience standpoint, that might be pretty cool. But from a performance standpoint, that might not be the best way to go about it. You might only want that API call to hit whenever that button is pushed, and not necessarily whenever a key is entered into the input box. But, you know, so that's something that you just kind of have to figure out for yourself if it's worth it. Plus, some open APIs, they limit the number of calls you can make. So you might have a limit of maybe 1,000 API calls in a day or something. So if you have one user that's typing thousands of characters, you're already going to hit that API limit. So that's also something to definitely watch out for. But for our purposes here, it's working pretty fine. The next thing you could do is take this temperature and convert it to either Celsius or Fahrenheit, just by grabbing the data from the page that's loaded into, and then doing a small, running a function on it that converts it from that number to a new number, and then displaying that new number. And then you can add styling, so definitely change these hideous styles up. Style the input box, maybe add that button back in there and change that functionality. For some reason, I went blank on like how forms are performed with like the Ultimate. I'm usually used to using React Final Form, so the way they go about handling form data is a little bit different than just using the native HTML form API. But I'm happy with what this is turned out to be for the short amount of time that it's taken. And also, you saw me do it in real time. Like I said, nothing was scripted, so there's a couple things here I needed to figure out while I'm making the video, and hopefully that might help some people out. Uh, I know for me, whenever I usually watch a lot of YouTube videos, everything's so perfectly planned that sometimes I wish I could see the creator go through the struggle of having to figure something out on the fly just to see their process of figuring out the problem versus just spitting a bunch of code out and then kind of following along. And this wasn't really a tutorial, so I didn't kind of talk my way through a lot of what I was doing and what things did. So I didn't explain how use state worked or use effect works. I didn't explain how to do an API call and the different things like that. I didn't explain how to kind of troubleshoot and debug code that's not working. I just kind of did it silently, and that's kind of my purpose. I didn't want this to be a tutorial video. I just wanted it to be just a simple, quick me making a weather application and you kind of seeing the process, my own process of how I go about that creation part. Tripping over my words here. I mostly wanted you to see like how how a developer might create an application without any kind of real plan behind it. What kind of process they might go through, how they might find solutions to roadblocks that they come upon, that kind of thing. So hopefully this helped you out. If it's not your cup of tea, that's kind of understandable. I know most people go to YouTube to find actual tutorial videos and not necessarily just someone coding an application along. But like I said, hopefully this might help some people out there. So um, if you have any kind of suggestions for other type of content you like to see, or if you want to see more tutorial based types of videos for different kind of APIs or functionality that you want to see implemented, or if you have questions about different kind of methods or class structures or architecture implementations, then just let me know, and maybe I might make a video on that. But anyways, hope you guys have a good day. Appreciate you watching.